Hey everyone, this is the Black Manga Critic, and we're back with a video on Boku no Hero Academia, chapter 156. So obviously, it seems that Shonen Jump manga to come out on Fridays. But like it's whatever. Whenever I do the videos, that's when I'm gonna do the videos. Something tells me that we'll go back to Thursday at some point. But for right now, we're gonna be, getting manga chapters on Fridays, which is fine. It's not a big deal to me. But basically, this is gonna be a review of Boku no Hero Academia, chapter 156, and I want to talk about two things in relation to this chapter. This isn't going to be like a super long video or anything like that, because I don't think there's too much necessarily to talk about that I can't talk about in conversations on Twitter and live streams and stuff like that. But I want to talk about one, the way that Horikoshi reintroduced Ochako and Tsuyu, and two, Eri's power and what that means for the story moving forward and things of that nature. So just getting into it, like the first thing that I really want to get into is the way in which Horikoshi reintroduced Ochako, Tsuyu, and other women heroes, right? And I think that there's a way in which it bothers me because he could have done this during the arc, right? There was a way in which I don't understand why he's reintroducing this stuff now. Like I get that Toga went and helped him. So, I get the time frame of it and everything like that. I get what's going on chronologically. That right after Twice and Toga got out of the hole, right out of this sort of underground thing that was going on, they met up with that with the women group, right, with Ochako and Tsuyu and all the other women heroes, right? And that's what happened, and they got mixed up, and they were fighting and blah blah blah, and all that stuff happened, right? So I understand that, but I think the thing that bothers me is that there's a way in which, almost chronologically, Horikoshi has put women on the back burner. And some people might say, oh, well, this is how the story, this is how we had to tell the story. Otherwise, things wouldn't make sense, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. I don't understand an argument that would tell me that, all of the women, right, that were on the rescue team needed to be put on the back burner, right? I don't understand, how, you could make an argument for that being a good thing. I don't really get it. So I think the thing that Ashido got some character development, right? But only as a connection to Kirishima, who got his character development, right? So even then, there's a way in which Horikoshi seems to continue to drop the ball in a sense. More recently, in introducing women characters that aren't particularly impact they don't particularly impact the narrative in a way that's whoa, they were so useful in what's happening right now, blah blah blah, into the story and everything like that, right? Eddie's a girl, and she impacts it a lot. So I think she's one character, but one character is not enough, right? It's you could argue that Eddie's a character that does influence the story clearly. She's a massive plot point. She's a massive narrative point, right? So I understand it. She's a really important character, but everyone else seems to be okay, all the women are doing their thing over here, where all the sort of side action is going on, right? That's a problem. You know what I mean? That's not a good thing. So for me, what would have I think worked better is if at some point during the overhaul stuff, right? The other side fights with other Yakuza members, right? They could have had that happen without Toga and Twice coming into the battle and everything like that. They could have just been the women fighting above ground, maybe holding off other individuals from the Yakuza organization or something like that. You know what I mean? There could have been some way in which Horikoshi still could have his all the heroes coming down, right, with Ochako and Tsuyu and all the gang, while still giving them some character development during the arc, as opposed to putting them on the tail end of the arc. That's the sort of thing that bothers me. And then I think there's another thing that kind of bothers me in a way, that's sort of connected in a sense. I haven't necessarily thought it out yet too much, but I think what bothers me, and this is going to be moving into the second point, is the way in which he's utilized Eddie, right? There's a way in which what I was expecting, and what I think a lot of people were expecting, was that Mirio was not going to get his quirk back particularly soon, right? Because Eddie didn't really know how to use her ability. Maybe there would have been a way in which, even if Eddie didn't learn how to use her ability, she might not have been able to reverse the quirk erasing or something like that. You know what I mean? There were possibilities, right? There were scenarios that we all of us had like thought up. But now it's like, oh, Eddie's had her awakening, and now she, it's like, and if she knows how to use her ability, like, at will, that's the kind of thing that bothers me. Like, it's like now she's able to use her ability at will. Now she's able to save everyone. Now she's gonna be able to, give Mirio his quirk back, and like, I don't like that scenario. I want to see Mirio struggle a little bit. That's not to say that like I like seeing Mirio struggle, but I think for the story and for that loss of his quirk to be as impactful as it needs to be, there has to be a period of time where he doesn't have his quirk, where maybe he's trying to do hero work but he can't because he doesn't have a quirk, and maybe it's illegal to do hero work without a quirk, right? So like that's what I want to see, and I don't want to see it for like the rest of the series, obviously, right? I don't want the whole series to be covered by that one thing. But what I do really want to see is like I was thinking about a way in which, if Eddie didn't know how to use her ability and she needed to learn that as she grew up or whatever, right? I want to see Eddie work through, not only work through her trauma in a way that like, correlated with her not understanding how to use her ability or not wanting to use her ability, right? While also like seeing the effects of like bullets that can take quirks away, right? That would have been really, really fascinating. I had like ideas about like how the story would go in terms of, just the thought of the ability to erase quirks is like a huge thing. That'd be a huge thing in the hero verse. That is My Hero Academia, right? You'd have heroes just like dropping out of like the hero race, right? They wouldn't do their jobs because they'd be afraid that some random villain would shoot them and they lose their quirk and they wouldn't be able to make money or anything like that anymore. You know what I mean? Like I was really interested to see where the story would go in that sense. But now, it seems as if Eri can use her ability, so she'll be able to like do all of this, like she'll be able to sort of fix everything that's like sort of a problem in the hero verse in My Hero Academia, that is like the ability to shoot people and erase their quirks, right? Like I don't want to see that. I want to see. I hopefully this is a moment where it was sort of like an instinctual thing where she doesn't know how to use it at will yet. And so like that would be a way in which like maybe we have like a ray of hope, but then Horikoshi snatches it away from us. I'd be interested in seeing that. That'd be good. Like I think that'd be like great writing. But for right now, it's worrying me. And maybe I shouldn't be too worried. Maybe I should just be like, okay, let's see how the story goes on. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what happens. And maybe things will work out. But right now, I'm a little like, oh, I don't know. I mean, like Eddie is a great character, and I think like I think like how she's dealing with her trauma and her connection to Chisaki and her connection to Mirio and things like that. I think those things are very like realistic in a way, but at the same time, like I want to see her continue to work through her trauma, because I think that's a very realistic thing. I don't think people just like, whoa, all of a sudden my trauma's gone. Like no, like it's like trauma is a very like pervasive thing. So I want to see more of what Horikoshi's going to do with this new development. I'm really interested. I thought it was a great chapter. It was interesting. I will say I also kind of thought that like sometimes the Horikoshi sort of like speaking, like the narrator sort of speaking, and telling us like, okay, this is what like Eddie was thinking and everything like that. I don't know. Here it felt a little bit heavy-handed. It wasn't like, whoa, this is like crazy annoying. I don't want to hear this shit. Like I don't care. Like I understand like when he uses it, like stuff like that, like it tends to be good like during certain battles. But here it was kind of like, and I think it partly was because like I didn't like the development. So because I didn't like the development, I didn't like the sort of small heavy-handedness of the sort of narration that was going on. But the narration, that's happened like tons of times. So it's not like I'm like, oh, Horikoshi, don't do any more, narration outside of like the characters, speaking or anything like that, outside of dialogue or whatever, right? Like I don't, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like I think because I didn't like the development, that's affecting how I feel about the narration that was going on during Eddie's awakening. So yeah, that's pretty much my review of My Hero Academia, chapter 156, I believe. It was a good chapter. I again, like I really want to see where Horikoshi takes this development, because I don't want this to be some sort of like Deus Ex Machina, like cop-out kind of shit. And some people will be like, no, Mirio, clearly was so impactful at Eddie that she was able to use her ability and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know. You know, like everything happened way too like fast. But again, this is a shonen manga. You know, so I'm going to expect some things. I have to expect some things to be a little like, you know, cookie cutter and a little cliche in a way. So, and especially because it's a weekly shonen jump. So, you know, that's my review of Boku no Hero Academia, chapter 156. I'm the Black Manga Critic, and I'm out.